Well, this is Mr. Oman, and we're going to be working on a live hinge box project here today. I'm going to show you how to draw it using CorelDraw software on your computer. And the pink lines that you see here, this is the finished product. Okay, we're going to be redrawing what you see in pink. We're going to draw it down here, down below, on the drawing space on that sheet. Okay, start by starting a new file and change these document settings for me, so that the width of your page is 24 inches and your height is 12, and make sure that your color mode is RGB. RGB, red, green, and blue. Hit OK. Okay, we need to set up your nudge settings. I'll explain what this means a little bit later. Go to Tools, Options, Rulers, and change your nudge. Okay, you can hit OK. We're going to start off by making the top and the bottom pieces of your box. Okay, notice that I'm pointing out the actual sizes of those pieces. I had them selected. You can go up and see what their height and width measurements are. So I'm just pointing those out to you right now. Okay, grab the circle command, drag a circle out, and adjust these settings right here with me. 2.865 left to right, 2.865 up and down. And you can hit Enter on your keyboard. Okay, and I'm going to do a copy and paste and nudge that over to the right. I did a Control-C, Control-V to copy and paste with my left hand on the keyboard. You might want to pause the video and catch up with what I'm showing right here. Control-C, Control-V for copy and paste. When it copies, it puts a copy right on top of the first one. So it's hard to see the second copy, but you have to drag the second one away using your right arrow key to nudge it over. Okay, all I've done here is I've measured and drawn the line that represents how long that top piece is. I'm connecting quadrants with the line command, and eventually I'm going to trim all of this up for you using the virtual segment delete, which is hidden underneath the crop tool over on the left. Okay, and I'm just trimming up all the stuff on the inside. I'm going to hit the select tool. I'm going to select everything I just drew, and I'm going to hit Control G for group. So this is all one object, one line, not separate lines. Okay, there's Control-C, Control-V for copy paste. Get a second copy of that. And then copy and paste again. And this will turn into one of our bigger copies. Okay, so it should be 5.0 by 3.115, so I'm going to change that so mine matches 5.0, 3.115, enter. It's hard to tell, but it adjusted the size of my piece by just a little bit. And I'm going to copy and paste this one again. So these last two copies should be slightly larger than the first two. You have kind of an inner and outer cover that will eventually get glued together for a top and a bottom. Right here, I'm just adding my name to one of the pieces using the text box. Make the font big enough that we can read it, so 48 is probably good. And I'm going to use the outline pen down in the lower right corner, double left click. And I need to set the outline pen to hairline width. And to blue, make sure you have 00255. Those numbers need to be correct. The laser only reads that exact color scheme. All right, now we're going to start in on the actual hinge. We're just going to draw this hinge portion. Here I'm showing you the overall dimension of the hinge, 4.56 by 2.0. I'm going to draw a rectangle here with those measurements. We're going to fill this rectangle with a hinge right here, so I'm just kind of getting things set up 4.56. There we go. And I'm going to grab the line tool. I'm going to draw a line over the top. It's this line I'm going to do some copying and pasting with. And I'm making this hairline, I'm going to make it red because this is eventually going to be a cutting line on the laser. Make sure it's 25500, red, green, blue. Okay, and there's my red line. And I'm going to copy and paste, Control C, Control V. And then I'm going to use my right arrow on the keyboard to nudge it over 0.09. Okay, I already have that set up in the settings. And I'm going to continue this pattern over and over until I fill that entire box. Control C, Control V. Okay, if you want to copy and paste large amounts, you can. Nudge those over. So nudging those over, and when I go too far, then I back it up. Okay, I don't want to have lines overlapping each other. I want to have one copy of each line. Okay, and I'll just do a few more here at the end. Again, that's all Control C, Control V, copy and paste, and nudging with the right arrow. Okay, so there's my cutting lines. We have some trimming to do next. Okay, I'm going to make some boxes. These boxes are going to be used to help me trim. Okay, and there's an example of the box. These are the measurements we're going to use right here for the boxes. So just draw a rectangle, I guess it could be 6.0, that's fine. Doesn't have to be a complicated number. So 6.0. Left to right and 0.09 vertically. Okay, and I'm going to copy and paste a few of those into place. Make sure you get this middle one centered. This one, I have to admit, I'm just kind of eyeballing that one. I'm trying to split the space up equally as best I can. And again, eyeballing this one. And the last one, on the top and bottom edges, I will actually put it right on the mark. Okay, so I'm zooming in. I'm going to grab the midpoint node and stick it right on that edge. And I'm going to grab another copy here. Copy and paste. I zoom in. I'm going to grab the midpoint node right there. All right, and it's these boxes that are going to help me to trim out my pattern. So now I'm trimming with the virtual segment delete command. Just left clicking right on the line, and I'm alternating every other line. Take your time, make sure you get these right. The quality of your hinge depends on this step right here. Okay, now down to the next row, I'm going to trim opposite lines. So what I just did. Okay, to speed things up, I'm skipping some of this in the video, but you can get the idea. Make sure you keep doing opposite, alternating trims, so you get a quality job done. Feel free to pause the video here and catch up with me if you need to. As you near the end here, make sure you double check your work at the end. If you need to undo, Control Z is undo. If you need to go back and redo anything, Pretty easy to fix things up if you make any mistakes, but just confirm that you got everything right before you move on. And now I'm going to use the select arrow, and I'm going to select all these boxes and delete them. Okay, I'm leaving my hinge pattern behind, and I'm going to delete that rectangle as well. Okay, so there's my hinge. I'm going to select it all with the select arrow and hit Control-G to group it. I like to do that so that I don't accidentally drag some lines away from the other ones who want to stay as one solid group. And I'm going to redraw the boxes cleanly around it. Okay, and now I'm going to get them spaced out with the help of the larger rectangle. So follow me on this part. Just draw a rectangle, don't worry about the size now. We're going to fix that size. Okay, that rectangle is 13.36 by 2.0. So let's make our rectangle that same thing. And hit enter. Do the rectangles on the ends first. We'll come back to the arrow. Right now I just drew a rectangle on the end. It matches the height, but I have to correct the width, 1.06, and I'm going to drag it, make sure it's right on the corner. I am going a little fast, so feel free to pause and go back if you need to and rewatch some of this stuff. Okay, the next rectangle is 2.12 by 2.0. Oh, I notice I made a typo there. It says 2.112. Hopefully it works out for me, but it was meant to be 2.12. Okay, I'm going to draw my arrows next. These will help latch the hinge together from one end to the other. One arrow on the right sticks out. The arrow on the left is cut into the object. Okay, so we're going to get a 0.5 by 0.5 arrow created. Okay, I'm going to grab it by the left midpoint node. Make sure the four-pointed move arrow is showing so you don't stretch it. It's absolutely important that your arrows are exactly the same size and not stretched out, and they need to be exactly in the same position. So I'm searching for the midpoint. I put it right on the midpoint of the left end. And now I'm going to use virtual segment delete to trim the remaining line right there. Okay, now take a moment and delete the boxes that you use to space out the space between the hinges. And there. Okay, so our arrows are ready to latch each other. Okay, with the select tool, I'm going to select the entire hinge. And you can do Control-G for group, but here's the menu. Right there, same thing. And I'm going to turn the whole thing into a hairline width and red 25500, red, green, blue color. So our laser can cut. These are all cutting lines that are going to happen. Same thing. These are cutting lines as well. 25500. And same for the last two, but not my text. The text needs to remain blue. I do not want the text cut out. I just want it to be a shallow etch, so I'll leave that as blue. Okay, I'm going to save my file in Student Share here at school in our class folder. Student Share, East Junior High, Tech Ed, Oman, and your class period, and find the folder that represents your project. So the Live Hinge box project. Or Flex Hinge, excuse me. And type your own name right there, so I know who's the owner, and hit save. Okay, and you can see there's the file, it's in the correct folder. Okay, and if you would please rearrange your pieces here at the end so they waste as little material as possible. That will help me out greatly. Make sure they don't overlap each other, but get them pretty close. Don't need to be touching, but just close. I'm going to turn this one using the rotate command 90 degrees. I'll drag that in right about there. And that is it.